Lawmakers, again, trying to repeal the 160-year-old abortion ban. And so the Attorney General yesterday asked the Supreme Court to reconsider that decision and uphold the ban, which would prevent the law from going into effect. However, news at the House today, because they said, forget about that law altogether. Heidi, what did you learn?
Okay,
let me turn reporter on you. Heidi, what did you learn?
I was down at the Capitol today, and this is now the third session. So, the legislature is only meeting once a week on Wednesdays. So the abortion ban was upheld by the state Supreme Court about 2 weeks ago on Tuesday. So now they met the following Wednesday, unsuccessful in trying to repeal the 1864 abortion ban. And so the bill that would repeal it, that was introduced in January at the beginning of the session by Representative Stephanie Stahl-Hamilton. Hasn't gotten a read all session.
Ben Toma, the Speaker of the House, would be in charge of letting that come to the floor, or you'd have to have a vote to overrule his decision.
Correct.
Right?
So what they've been trying to do is make a motion to amend the rules, because normally you have to do first, second, and third read, and then you get a vote on the third read. But you can make it a motion to amend the rules so that you can just vote on the bill right now. So they were unsuccessful in doing that the last 2 Wednesdays, but today they got it done.
They got a vote to have the vote.
They voted to vote, and they voted, and it was repealed.
Okay.
In the House. Now it still has to be sent to the state Senate.
So is there a vote to send it to the state Senate?
No, it's on the way. But so they actually made a motion to expedite the process.
There you go. Okay.
And that vote did not pass. It failed.
What were things like down at
Are we learning more about the procedure?
It's a lot
the wasteful
of
procedures.
Details.
Oh,
well, it really is like a game of chess, and who can play it better. They were actually there were a lot of points of orders, which is like an objection,
yes.
And that's you have to say a member broke a rule, and then you have to say what rule and what they said that broke the rule. So a lot of that was going on, and a lot of it got shot down. Actually,
okay.
Take a deep breath for us for a second. What was the mood like down at the Capitol today, Heidi?
It was tense. This is, as you know, a very tense topic for many.
Sure.
And
what made it so tense?
There was, today, the pro-lifers, they're showing up to the Capitol, you guys. They were there last week when I was there. They were there today. They fill the gallery. They're singing hymns, and they're praying before the session. But so before I went into the House, I was at a Biden-Harris campaign event about this abortion policy, before the session started. And there was a gentleman there with a large blown-up poster of what looked to be a mangled fetus.
Oh, and my gosh.
It was just hard to look at. Like, no one wants to look at that. But that's what they show people to get their message across, that, abortion
shock
is
value.
murder. Yeah,
okay.
Shock value. And so he kind of stood right behind the press conference for all the cameras, and so that was a lot to take in. It was kind of hard to look away because it was right where everything was happening. But then after that press conference ended, there were more protesters, looked to be pro-life protesters outside the Capitol. And I even saw a kid, like a little boy who looked to be about maybe 10, and he had a poster with what looked to be a mangled fetus on it.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was with his parents and siblings. There were lots of families out there. There was a baby in the gallery today, people bringing their kids and stuff. And then just, you could feel the tension in the room when the vote to repeal the ban was happening. Actually, everyone in the gallery stood up. You get people vote, and then both sides, people can explain their vote. So as some of the Republicans were explaining their no vote to not repeal, people in the gallery were standing up. They looked to be praying, would put their arms above their head. And they kept decorum. That was a biggie. You're not allowed to speak, clap, cheer, boo, whatever. And it stayed very quiet up there. And then you could just feel like, kind of the energy got sucked out of the room once it passed. And the gallery cleared out real fast.
So let's talk about those that voted for it. Heidi Hommel is our KTAR reporter who was at the House today as they voted to repeal the 1864 abortion ban. This took crossover from Republicans. First, in order to circumvent the parliamentary rules of order, in order to have the vote in the first place without the Speaker bringing it for a first, second, third read.
Correct.
And then it took the vote to repeal. Mm-hmm. That meant it took Republicans to cross over and vote with the Democrats.
Yes, but before that, there was another chess move, actually.
Okay.
State Representative Alexander Colladin, a Republican, he made a motion to amend the bill, so the bill that would repeal the 1864 abortion ban. He wanted to put an amendment in there that would enforce all abortion laws on the books. Wasn't exactly worded like that, but so meaning that if it's repealed, the 15-week ban would be enforced.
From 2022.
Correct. Which is kind of, now thinking about it in hindsight, if this bill passes in the Senate, that is what we will revert back to.
The 2022 law.
Correct.
We think so. And it sounds like he's dotting his I's and crossing his T's, unless you
Correct.
think there's another chess move involved.
No, but I think the voter initiative in November, the all abortion access voter initiative,
Yes.
if that passes, then I don't know how that would work then with the amendment and the repeal.
And that may be the chess move that he's making. Who were the Republicans that crossed over for the procedural vote and then for the vote to repeal?
So I can't tell you how the 3 Republicans who sided with Democrats to repeal the 1864 abortion ban were Matt Gress, Tim Dunn,
Okay.
I think that's his first name,
Yeah.
and then Justin Wilmoth.
Okay.
And so, but
not Cook, who had said all along that he would vote to repeal.
I did not see that. I heard Cook said that
Okay.
he knew other Republicans were gonna cross the aisle, but
Yeah.
I never saw, at least himself, that he said he would.
Okay. He did say that he would vote to repeal, but he would not vote for the procedural movement.
Okay.
Right. So he was kind of playing both sides, and it sounds like he did that. All right. Heidi, thank you. Great job. I'm sorry you had to deal with the visuals that were so graphic. That sounds like something that's going to stay with you for a very, very long time.
Yeah, that's hard to process, but it is cool to be on the House floor when stuff like this happens. And,
It's big.
News is history in the present form.
Hey, we appreciate you being there. And
Wow. Somebody
Sharing it
passed
with
her
us.
journalism exam, didn't she?
I sure did.
Wow. Well done. All right. Thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you for having me.
So here's where I'm hung up on this, Joe. A couple of things. One, they did not vote to expedite the bill to the Senate, which I think that's like paying for 2-day shipping.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Which
here.
means we're waiting another week?
I don't know. Heidi's still in the studio. Do we know what the timeline is, Heidi?
I believe so. I believe next Wednesday, then the Senate will have to take up this
Wait a
bill.
minute. Or do they have to vote next Wednesday to send it to the Senate?
Nope, there will be no
okay.
vote.
They'll just go
It
to the
shouldn't
Senate.
be, yeah.
All right. But they couldn't just send it to the Senate today because they did not vote to FedEx this thing over.
No.
They tried, but
Okay.
that wouldn't pass.
Thank you.
No expediting.
In 2022, Joe, help me out here.
Okay.
The GOP legislature, Republican governor,
Yeah.
they signed the bill that says the abortion laws in Arizona are 15-week ban, no exceptions for rape or incest, but this does not repeal the 1864 law, which meant that they passed a law knowing that the Supreme Court was facing the potential repeal of Roe v. Wade. They passed the bill knowing that there was a law on the books that was an old law from pre-Roe v. Wade, and they said specifically in their bill, this does not repeal the original law.
I think they thought it never would come up, but you're right with everything you've said. Yeah.
Yeah, so they put it in the bill because they knew that the original law would be challenged because it was a territorial law. It was pre-statehood, even though it was codified later on. So they wanted to make sure that they had a fail-safe, basically. This was their safety net. They passed it in the House,
Yeah.
passed it in the state Senate,
Yep.
signed by a Republican governor.
Ducey. Yeah.
So the bill goes into effect, which then goes back to the 1864 law. And now they're saying, whoa, that's too much.
Oh, come on. You know why that is.
Why?
It's because they stuck their finger in the air and they feel the breeze blowing, and it's blowing against the way that they want it to blow.
This is, and I agree with you, but this is, in addition to what you just said, an example of political theater. Look at all the bills that were sent to Hobbs' desk. Look at the bills that she vetoed.
Oh, gosh.
How many
I
of those
mean,
bills ever would have gone to the governor's desk if it had been a Republican governor?
Very few, if any.
This is what we see in Congress as well, where you'll have.
I mean, do you want to highlight a couple of those? I mean, one was basically you can shoot anybody
That was
who's
the one that came to
anywhere on
mind.
your property.
Yeah, that was the one that came to mind for
There
sure.
were others, though, that were like,
A lot of
what's going
immigration
on
bills,
here?
yeah, things like that. This happens on the federal level too, where they'll say, "We voted to repeal Obamacare," knowing that Obama's not going to sign a bill to repeal his health care law, right? Or that Biden's going to do it. And yet, when the Republicans are in charge, they can't get it passed to send to a Republican's desk, right? A
Both
Republican.
sides do it. Yeah.
Yes, of course they do.
Yeah.
So-
in this case, we've had Republicans doing it
And
now.
that's,
Yep.
yeah, Arizona has been traditionally a red state, right?
Yep.
And it becoming maybe a little bit more purple. The political theater makes me a little bit crazy. But also making me crazy is, and Heidi kind of touched on this when she was talking about the chess that they were playing, that timeline looks fishy to me. And I also wonder what will be the law of the land. As she mentioned, one amendment proposal was to reinstate and enforce all abortion laws if this one is repealed. I mean, duh. But I feel like there's more to that.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.